Hello, my name is Dr. Sam Donegan, and I am here to present CliMate. We earn carbon credits for farmers. We've got a QR code if you'd like to scan it here. That'll take you to our demo, or you can visit climate.org.au to interact with our demo and talk to our AI. So, I don't need to tell anybody or remind anyone that the climate crisis is worsening. We've got 1.5 degrees of warming. It looks like we'll reach that this year. Global ice caps melting, habitat destruction, extreme weather events. You name it. We've got it all. You can't really go through any social media site these days without being bombarded by some horrible statistics about what's happening to our planet. And Australia has made some promises that we are struggling to keep. So we are not on track to meet our emissions targets unless something changes. But it's not all doom and gloom, because the Australian government has released something called the ACCU scheme, which aims to reduce emissions in these sectors, mainly the food and agriculture sector. And what the ACCU is it's $2.3 billion has been committed to help farmers basically do projects on their farm to reduce, to actually increase the carbon sequestered by the soil. But it is a little bit all doom and gloom, because we've got about 90,000 farms in Australia, and only 2% of them are actually participating in the ACCU scheme. So we've got a government that wants to pay farmers to help the environment, and farmers that want to help the environment get paid, but for some reason there's a disconnect here. What could it be? Well, I grew up on a farm. This is me riding a sheep. This is me the day I got my first motorcycle. And this is me the day after I got my first motorcycle. So I can tell you a little bit about what farmers are thinking. And if I'm thinking about what this disconnect is between these two parties, well, I can tell you it's the paperwork. So research shows that the uptake of carbon farming projects is hindered by the substantial burdens of paperwork and a lack of information about their schemes. And our team has gone through, and we've spoken to a bunch of farmers the last couple of weeks, and these are direct quotes from farmers. We can see it here. There's too much bureaucracy. It's a ton of paperwork. I'm not going to do all that work. You get the picture. And when we look at Australian non-adopters of these schemes, 75% of them said there's not enough information and there's too much paperwork. So, when we've got these two parties, the government and farmers, they both want the same thing, but there's too much paperwork in the middle, well, we could just do the paperwork for them, or even yet, better yet, we could build an AI to do that paperwork. And that's where CliMate comes in. So CliMate, farmers can come to this website, they can interact with the AI, they can ask any questions at any time of day in their own language. You can even speak to them in an Australian accent. And if they'd like, they can then put in the address of their farm. CliMate will give them useful statistics about their farm, about the carbon sequestered already in their soil. It'll recommend some projects that will give them the most bang for their buck in terms of how many carbon credits they can earn. And down the bottom here, if they just write a little prompt and click this button generate, it'll actually write the application for them. How does it work? Well, there's a bunch of AI terms in here, but we basically grab all this data from the ACCU, we vectorize it using AWS Titan, we then store all that vectored information in a Pinecone database. We use something called RAG, which is Retrieval Augmented Generation interaction with a model called Claude, which is also stored on AWS. That just means that it can remember that information that has been put in and can give very specific answers related to the ACCU. Now, how do we actually make money from this, or how can it be sustainable? So there is a $5,000 setup bonus that the government gives. We can tap into that, so we'll take a clip of that, and the rest would go to the farmers. Every time the farmers need to report on their project progress every year, we take a clip of that where we make the reporting easy. And when the farmers sell their carbon credits at the end of the project, we take a clip from that as well. And this isn't a small market. So we started with farmers as our vertical because they're the ones that hate paperwork the most. And as I said, it's a $2.3 billion scheme in Australia, but after farmers, we can expand to industry, to transport, to other sectors. Plus, with the Inflation Reduction Act in the US, that's another $400 billion market, And we do actually see a global market emerging for carbon credits. So other countries like China, Indonesia can benefit from this as well. So this is our team. We've got a nice mix of medical, AI, and some geoengineers. And if you need to contact us, you can reach us here. Thanks very much.